So we're going to run through the everybody list really quick. First is Arvika. Arvika comes back. She looks exactly what I want her to look like, about 50 pounds heavier. She looked a lot more confident on the track, looked a lot more comfortable in her gait. So that's what we wanted from this filly. We'll start training her next Wednesday, probably go a slow mile with her. Autumn Wings. Here's a filly that also, same thing as Arvika. I wanted to see a more comfortable, confident filly on the track, a little heavier. All three, check, check, check. She looked great. So for me, we'll start training those horses next week towards the middle and the end of the week and getting them back on the road to the races. Both these fillies were ready to rock. We just decided, given the timing, given their overall disposition, that maybe some time off would help. Autumn Wings had been in 59 back in June, and Arvika, I think, was in 2 minutes or 2:1. So it's not like they weren't there. They were there. We just chose to give them some time. Bay Jewel off to a bit of a bumpy start, a 4th or 5th place finish her first start, and then Ricky McCumber told me she was going to win the other night, and made a little break. So they did some work to her, and she'll be back at it, I guess, in a week or two, back at the stakes. Be My Delight, we opted to turn her out. She had that hip flexor, that odd, rare injury. She got cast in the stall about 2 months ago. Nah, maybe not 2 months, close to 2 months ago, and tweaked that hip. And I got injured 5 years ago. I smashed my hip up in an accident at Flamborough. And I know how painful hip flexor injuries can be. So for me, I appreciate the fact that she was willing to work through that injury, but can't really ask her to do that. So we gave her some time off and let her grow. Her knees always bothered her also. So get her out, let her knees close up, and she'll turn into the filly we know she is. She's been in 2 minutes, so there's no concerns with her speed or tenacity. Just asking for a bit too much with that hip flexor tweaking and bothering her. So we gave her some time off. Better Call Mike just come back in the barn 2 days ago. Mike looks good. He's going to start back jogging right away. He jogged today, I guess, was the first day out. Boldness, he's not back yet. He'll be back soon. Give him another week or two. Again, the more time, the better, I think, for this colt. He really just needed to mature. I'd like to train him down, get some races into him, and turn him back out this winter if we could. We'll see how it goes with Boldness. As you know, he'd been in 218 or something like that before we turned him out. He was interfering, so the whole point is to let him fill out, become a bigger horse. Buckingham, obviously, goes without saying, raced tremendous last week. Kevin has her dialed in, and she looks great. 56 flat in her second lifetime start off a mile and 58 in Dresden. This filly's really got it put together and really figured it out, really turning into a nice filly. So good for her and good for Kevin. Buckingham looks great. Captain Miraculous, I schooled him in 59 the other day. We are going to cut those razor pads out. Harry thinks that the razor pads are holding him back and he's slipping, and I tend to agree with him. I think he's right. So we're going to qualify him on Tuesday, sans, minus the pads. We're going to take them off of him. Cash In On Me deserved to go out. He bumped and hipped and hopped all year, but was always willing to do his work. He's a worker. He's a heavy lifter, and I like this colt. You know, I'd said to somebody the other day, they were talking about how cheap his shares were being tossed around on the site, and I said, I own over 50% of them. You don't see me selling any shares of them. I'm happy with him. I like the colt, and we're going to give him all the time in the world to come back. This is a well-bred colt, and no reason not to give them the time. So they can't all be ready when we need them ready. You know, these are all horses. They're all individuals. We need to let them excel at their own rate. So Cash In On Me be back, I don't know, a month or so. Curious Winner down in Ohio, qualified good his first qualifying trip. Bit of a bulldog, tossed me around a little bit. Didn't kick though, so that's a bonus. He drew the rail in Scioto on Wednesday. It's been 2 weeks since he's had a really fast mile. I don't know how fast Jason went with him today. I think he was training him today. He said he was going to train him, but I didn't get any follow-up, so I don't know. But I assume a big mile. He probably went with him at the farm. Cruising with Angus. Indigo and the Gold on Monday. Bit of a tall order for this colt, but we talked about it from the outset. Didn't have any interest in racing him on that surface at Georgian Downs. Would rather put him in a spot where he's a little more comfortable at Mohawk. He's been here a few times. He's sound now. He feels good. So we will get him raced on Monday night. Casanova's Jewel. Casanova's Jewel is in to go Monday in Pennsylvania. Here's a colt that, I think has got a bright future. Nice colt. Does everything right. And he's got the Stallion Series on Monday, so like the grassroots. And I think that's a good start for him. Keep him trotting, get him around, and get some money would be fantastic for me. But, excuse me, we will see how it works out on Monday. Dance Hall Babe makes her first start lifetime in a gold event Sunday night at Georgian Downs. So we're going to get a real good chance to take a quick look at her. She's obviously not in perfect racing shape. This is a filly. It's all worked out well for her where we took our time with her. We didn't start her early because we feel there's a lot left for her later in the year. You know, I don't want to talk about the bigger stake races that she could possibly be eligible to, but we have paid her into everything under the moon. So there's no shortage of racing for Dance Hall Babe the rest of the way. Everything's going according to plan so far. Dancing on My Own. It's a big Sun Beach filly we turned out. Gave her some time. She was just too big, too lanky, and needed to grow. So she's out in the field right now enjoying some grass and running around and hopefully filling out. Delcrest Star Angel decided to give her some time off. Again, we had slated her in for a late July start. We were ahead of schedule, had been in 2.8, but she was making a few little breaks in the turns. And for me, I couldn't see any lameness. We made some shoeing adjustments. She was the same. So for me, I'm more inclined to believe that it's a maturity thing. She's an extremely big, extremely tall filly and probably just needs some time off. So we gave her, we're going to give her 3 weeks off in the field and bring her back. Next, we have Final Answer. We talked about him, how impressive he was training the other day, how impressive he was racing, and how I think he'll be impressive on Tuesday, I hope. So that is Final Answer. Friggin' Biggin raced huge his first start at the Biggin. Then he raced last night in an overnight in Scioto and finished 5th. There was some gold colts in there. He got away on the front, kind of got lost on the front end. Looked to me like he was a little pinchy on that left stifle, was a little tight. The vet looked at him this morning. Sure enough, he was, so they did the work on him. He should be better his next start next Friday at Scioto. Heart 8. Can't talk enough about Heart 8. She made one of the list, top 10 list. 1 in 156. Third lifetime start. Looked tremendous doing it. Kevin has certainly got her going in the right direction. Holding steady. The staking program in Illinois is a bit scattered. I think they're going to start condensing it a little bit. There's going to be some state fairs he can go to, and then he's got some other stake races to racing out there. And then the final of the Night of Champions, he finished 4th in his first start. He's got to continue to make some money and get points to make the final. But, you know, obviously a talented colt in his own right. So I'm interested to see what he's going to turn in over the next few weeks. Ivanka, they're still jogging and training Ivanka in Illinois. I kind of thought she'd be turned out by now. They wanted to keep going with her for a few weeks, and you know, they know the filly by now. They know her good enough, so they wanted to take some time. Take some time. Go ahead. We'll give them some time and see how she turns out. But for me, I think she's pretty tall. She's pretty big. She was pretty immature when she left here. I think the field's probably the best thing for her, but we'll see. We'll see what Angie and Rob has up their sleeves over the next couple of weeks with Ivanka. Just a Tad. If you missed the news last week, Just a Tad made it back to Ontario. Trained him for the first time today. Don't know if he's ready to or not. Trained him a slow mile today. He looked good. Make a few little shoeing adjustments with him, and then it's off to the races, as they say, with Just a Tad. Any of these maturity issues that they thought they had some issues with, I don't see them, but I didn't go fast with him yet, so I guess we'll see over the coming weeks what Just a Tad has in store for us. But so far, so good with him. Candy Mac drew the 9-hole, the dreaded 9-hole at Scioto Downs. It's a tough spot to leave. So Candy Mac's going to have to bring his lunch and his A game on Wednesday. He's going to have to get out of there, I think. There's no point in getting away last, and he's pretty effective off the gate. Hopefully we can get the slip on them, leaving the gate and get him spotted away close, because he raced awesome his first start. Can only be better this week. King of the Ball made it back to the barn. He's going to start jogging and start jogging today. He started jogging today, and then we'll get him back on a schedule and see how he behaves. If he's still crazy and hot, back out to the field for the rest of the summer with the old King of the Ball. Gave him an opportunity to get over that gelding, the castration, and then also in turn fill out a little bit, let his knees cool down, need 3 weeks in the field. So we'll see how he responds to that. Christine K, a little bit sick her first start. Give her a week to get over it. I'm going to draw her blood again on Monday, see how she is. Probably school her next Friday, I would think. Then she'll either go directly to New York or race once at Grand River. I'll talk to Renee and Michelle, who obviously own the vast majority of that horse, and see what they want to do with Christine K. Linnea, a little bit sicker last start, obviously. The abysmal start in the OSS Grassroots. Obviously, that's not Linnea. Linnea won in 155 the week before. And that's the Linnea that we are going to see her next start. Probably race her next weekend sometime in a 2-year-old race. Maintenance Man, goes without saying again, raced huge. I can't say enough. Come in soundly on number 9 in the top 10 list. This is a colt that paced in 154 and 4 his first start, 153 and 3 his second lifetime start. Nothing to sneeze at there. This is a serious colt with a very, very bright future. So Maintenance Man, firing on all cylinders right now, and I did even see a few little holes in him I think we can improve on. So, Maintenance Man, looking for a big mile from him his next start. Majesty Boy, colt again, running in pretty good, a little rickety in the turns at Scioto. The vet found some spots. His stifles were bothering him, his back was bothering him. We baycoxed him also. He's going to be racing Wednesday at Scioto, and I think we're going to be looking at a good mile from him. Maxwell Plum, little up in the air still. I said he hit that left hind the other day. It's hot up in there. We're going to ultrasound it to see what it looks like. If it's just a bruise, I think he'll be fine. If it's a little more than a bruise, it's not a big deal. If there's a contusion in there, maybe even a little tear, we'll just simply give him the time and stop with him. And he's already proven that he's a doer. He wants to do his work. He's tough and a nice colt. So we're going to do the best we can for Maxwell Plum moving forward. Like I said, not a big deal. He's either race Wednesday or he won't. If he's not 100%, he won't go behind the gate. If he is 100%, he will. So Maxwell Plum in Ohio right now. We're going to get him ultrasounded Monday and see how he looks. But nothing serious either way. I don't think. This is a nice colt who wants to do his work. You know, is he a top flight sire stakes colt? No, he's a Buckeye grassroots type horse, but he's a worker, and I rather respect the horse for his work ethic. Just a nice horse, so we will have him in the right position moving forward. Mo Better, can't say much more about Mo Better. 27 flat mile and 55 and 1, 8 days after scoping, full of mucus. Nice colt, very, very nice colt. Mr. Caper, the saga of Mr. Caper goes on. So we got the x-rays back. Mr. Caper has a crack in his navicular bone, broken navicular bone. That is a severe injury. That is a bad one. Now, I'll tell it to everybody because everybody should know. So the prognosis, I've had horses with broken naviculars before. When they break their navicular bone, they never actually calcify. They get scar tissue in between the line, and it never heals properly. So that's why usually the way it was told to me by the surgeon, when the bone breaks, it displaces, and then scar tissue gets in between, and that's why they're always kind of lame, and they're never consistent on that. Even when it heals, it's not healed. His bone cracked, but it did not displace. She said in 30 years as a surgeon and as a veterinarian, she has never seen a front navicular bone break in a standardbred horse. Furthermore, she has never ever heard of one not displacing, so it sits like that. His is cracked, but it's straight. So, and I don't know how the crack is. So I asked her an obvious question. Can we put a screw in it? Will that help? What's the prognosis? She took 5 days. She sent me back an email. She goes, there is no documentation of a screw ever being put in a navicular bone. Now, I guess the navicular bone is in the foot, and it's surrounded with soft tissue and all sorts of stuff. So it's an incredibly complex bone to get to put a screw into. Secondly, it's a small bone, I guess. So that complicates it also. So Natalie Cote, the surgeon, incredibly good surgeon, very, very smart person, very meticulous, So me being me, I tried to talk her into it. I said, well, it's never been done. So as a veterinarian, are you not interested in doing it? Now, some questions have to be answered. One, if I can convince her to do the surgery, and the surgery doesn't go right, does that jeopardize the horse's life? That's a no-go. It's not going to happen if it does. If the surgery goes well, does that mean that the navicular bone will be fine moving forward? Will it heal properly because you put a screw in it? Will the prognosis be he'll be a racehorse? Because if we're just going to leave it with a broken navicular bone, I have no interest in training him down. I raced horses when I was younger that in the past had broken navicular bones. There's no consistency, and they never ever, you can see if you had a horse with a lot of race lines and somewhere in those race lines he broke a navicular bone, had time off, they never come back the same way they were. So for me, I have no interest in training them down. If they can't, if the screw can help, I'd rather put the screw in. And if the screw won't help and they don't want to put it in, I just as soon give the horse away to the adoption society, the Standardbred Adoption Society, OSAS, if you will. So nice horse, and I just want to have him. Although he didn't have a racing career yet, he was well on his way to being a racehorse. This was a freak accident, an injury that came out of nowhere. Very unique and rare. So the Mr. Caper saga continues. I'm going to have a very lengthy conversation with Dr. Natalie Cote tomorrow morning, Sunday morning. That's how meticulous she is. She wanted to talk to me on a Sunday so she had a clear head about what was going on. Now, hopefully, she says, one, we can't put a screw in. The prognosis is good. It's an incredibly difficult, complex operation, but he won't be any worse for the wearer regardless. Only good can come from it. If that's the case, good. Put the screw in. So we'll see. Natalie's a very, very, as I said, meticulous surgeon. She's been thinking about this all week, and I know the owners out there of Mr. Caper are waiting with bated breath to see what is going on. I'm in the same position as you. I don't know what is going to happen, but I will know hopefully on Sunday, so you'll know by the time this video is aired. Not an Angel. Again, made a break 2 starts ago, then raced last week. Bled a little bit. With all that heat and humidity and allergy, she bled a little bit. So we opted to put her on the Lasix program. Not often you see a 2-year-old on Lasix. It's not something you want to do all the time. But it's not like she's a bad bleeder. There was a few trickles there. They treated her up best they could with the vet. A few more trickles still. I just as soon have her on Lasix. That's what it's there for. And although we can have an argument about 2-year-olds on Lasix till we're both blue in the face, till all of us are, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for the horse. And you can argue stop with her is best. Okay. I'm going to argue putting her on Lasix is best. And only the future will tell which one of us was right and which one of us was wrong. Maybe we were both right. Maybe it was good to turn her out or put her on Lasix. But for me, we have a Lasix program in this country and yours in the States for a reason. And we are going to utilize it. So Not an Angel went on the Lasix program. She'll be racing next week. Quartz Blue Chip, this is a filly we turned out. Finally, I just pulled the plug. We trained her in 2-2, but she's not super comfortable. Ricky said he felt she was more aggressive. She wanted to do her work. She was striving to be better, but just wasn't there yet. When you start looking at the fillies in Pennsylvania pacing in 52 and 53, and you're going in 2-2, might be time to look at Mr. Dr. Green heading to the field. So she's a big, good-looking, well-bred filly. Again, we talked about the Sweet Loos, how impressive they've been. So for me, I have no problem turning this filly out. I rather like her, and there's nothing I'd like more than to see her come back as a great 3-year-old. So Quartz Blue Chip out in the field. Ready for the Beach, made a break, a very stupid break. Not my fault, his fault. Shouldn't have made a break. He was not paying attention to his work and rolled off stride. He was going to be a winner and made a break in the last turn in Sauda. Hopefully that does not happen this week. Made a few little shoeing changes, pulled his hobbles in tighter, pulled his head up a little bit. Until he has the confidence he needs, that's where he's going to have to leave both his hobbles and his head. RV LeBron still out in the field. By all reports, his knee has come down good now, so we'll probably bring him back in 7 to 10 days and start back with him. Interested to see what he's going to do for the rest of the summer. I think he'll make the races and be a nice little horse. What type of horse that is, don't know. Screaming Hawk, Monday we're going to see Screaming Hawk race in the gold First gold for Screaming Hawk on Monday night. Finished second in 59 the other day and absolutely deserves to be in the gold. Can't wait to see what this guy's going to do. Just a really nice horse. See You in Tuscany, #1 horse in TheStable.ca right now, and deservedly so. Anytime you can come first over and win in 153 flat in your second lifetime start, there's a good chance you're going to be the big dog in the stable. So that's what happened with See You in Tuscany. First over winner in 153 flat, 3-2, got the rail on Monday evening in Cleveland. Really excited to go drive him. Stolen Dance, still out in the field, and she's going to remain out in the field for another month or so. Going to let this filly really fill out, mature, and hopefully become the filly she's bred to be and wants to be. This filly's already got it dialed in. She's smart as a whip. She knows what she's supposed to do. Just stands off a little bit and had that narrow chest. I think as she grows and fills out, I think that'll be less of a problem. Springbridge Proud. Couldn't be more proud. And when I saw that colt, that is the toughest display I've seen in quite a while of a racehorse. That foot must have been killing him with that foot separation. He was just sound enough. He wasn't lame. He didn't have a head nod, but it was there, and he knew it was there. And he swooped the field. Last half, 56-1. Last quarter in 28 seconds to win in 57 in Georgian. Just an unbelievably ultra impressive mile. So really excited to see how Ron Burke does with Springbridge Proud. Stonebridge Loyal turned her out in the field. She won her first qualifier easily, 59-4. Last quarter in 29 seconds. And then her first start, she was second in 59, came from 7th. To finish second in 59 at Grand River. Just a beautiful filly. A few lines in her knees. She's always been a little tender on them. We're not going to tempt fate. We're going to let her be the horse that she wants to be and we need her to be. To do that, she's going to have to see the field for a little while. So that's Stonebridge Loyal. Stonebridge Simba off to Pennsylvania. Trained him good the other day. He had an old quarter crack and a bruised bulb in his heel. We put a bar shoe on that foot. And I think that will help him for Tuesday. He's looking at probably trotting in 57 or 58 on Tuesday. What that gets him, it gets him. Sunshine's Finest. Wow, that's a nice horse. Parked to the quarter in 27 flat. Controlled the race on the front end. Not really where he likes to be, but ended up on the front end. Finished second in 52 and raced absolutely great in doing it. So, really looking forward to what the rest of the summer is going to look like for this guy. He is a serious, serious contender. Sunshine Inn raced great. Her first start finished second. Her second start in a stake race, she come up a little bit sick. I think she was 6th, 7th. Pace 57. Wasn't embarrassed by any means. But a little bit sick. So we opted out of the grassroots next Wednesday. Going to give her 10 days and race her back next weekend in the 2-year-old event. Then we Swandry the Giant. He's on the list, obviously. I can't say enough about him. I got to be clear. We don't have Swandry the Giant. Swandry the Giant is now in Indiana. And the gentleman that has him there is doing a fantastic job with him. He went down to Indiana, won his qualifier, won both his first start, 2 starts. Racing in the final of the Indiana Sires tonight, and looks great. And I hope they win. Love to see them win with Swandry the Giant. The Butler did it. Finished 5th in New York, and then geez, he come up sick. Couldn't race in the second Sire Stakes. He said Paul called me Saturday morning today and said that he trained him, and he's still a little bit sick. So they took a swab of the mucus to see what. Why the antibiotics they put him on didn't work, and they put him on a different antibiotic. So I think you'll probably see him out next week or so. You'll probably see the Butler did it out. So Too Far Gone, I talked about Too Far Gone early with the EPM, and she's going to miss a couple of weeks. We'll get her back on track. Certainly not concerned with this filly. I have no issue with horses that try as hard as this filly does. She'll get back there, no problem, and be absolutely perfect moving forward. Tomorrow's headline, turned this guy out for a little while. I had talked to Randy Jones and said, listen, I can qualify him in 57 right now, but he's going to have pace 53. And I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to push him too hard. Do you think it'd be all right if we turned him out for a little while? He says, absolutely no problem. Turn him out. So that's what we did. Tomorrow's headline is out in the field, and we'll bring him back in about 6 weeks or so. Twinsburg, number 2 in the stable, won easily in 154-4. Her first start, her second start. Her first start was at Mohawk. She finished second, third, and then she drew the 7-hole Tuesday night. Dreaded 7-hole on a half-mile track. I don't really know what we're going to do there. We'll have to wait and see. I know what I want to do, but what I want to do and what I'm going to be able to do might be 2 different things. Next is Time Houdini. Keep your eye on Time Houdini Monday night. If Mike Saftik drives him aggressively, I think Mike Saftik will be very surprised with the mile Time Houdini goes. I think he's ready to trot in 57. I think that's enough to win on Monday night, but we'll see. Time Houdini is sitting on a big mile, I think, after what I witnessed the other day with him training. Time Tulo looked absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Both his starts at Grand River, moving to the big track with a big head of confidence. I think this colt also could be sitting on a big mile. I have no idea how fast he's ready to trot, but I know he's ready to do some damage, and I think this colt's going to do well on Monday night also. War We Ultra, a little concerned. Obviously, she had a bad start, her first start, put her on antibiotics, qualified her exactly where I wanted to go on Tuesday, 2-1. Looked really good doing it, won the qualifier by 2 or 3 lengths. Indigo, she gets in with Dance Hall Babe. I have to drive Dance Hall Babe because I own Dance Hall Babe and I don't own any of War We Ultra. That will change this week. So, War We Ultra, James is going to get a second kick at the cat on the big filly, and I'm going to drive Dance Hall Babe. We'll see what happens. It's a tough division. Trevor Henry's filly shows the last quarter in 27-2 or 27-3 in there. She's in there. A couple other Tigers in there also. You know, Dance Hall Babe's never made a start, so she's a week or 2 behind these fillies. But that's okay. We get a different plan with Dance Hall Babe and also War We Ultra. Hopefully she's healthy and ready to rock on Sunday night. West 52nd. This colt made a little mistake his first start down in Ohio. I think he'll correct that very easily in Scioto. I think he's sitting on a big mile also this week. I'm thinking and hoping of big things from West 52nd. White Tiger also made a mistake his second start last week. He's heading into the Pennsylvania Sires on Tuesday. Picked 5-1 in the program. No slouches in there. This is a tough, tall order for this colt. And we'll see what he's made of. If he stays trotting and behaves himself, we'll see what he's made of on Tuesday afternoon. And we got, as we usually do, Yes, raced very well his first start, finished 3rd. Jason did a little vet work on him with the veterinarian and trained him yesterday. Said he trained fantastic. He's going to be in Friday evening at Scioto. Sun's going down. Got all the videos done. Took me just under 2 hours to do these videos. I'm going to do that so it focuses. Just under 2 hours to do these videos, but I'm happy I got them all done. We're off to a flying start here in North America for TheStable.ca. Big things coming up. We got Lawmaker coming up in the Hambletonian, hopefully. We have all these colts starting in Pennsylvania, in Ontario, first of the week. Colts coming back and fillies coming back for Ohio this week. It's going to be a great week, hopefully, for TheStable.ca, and it's already been a great summer. So things are looking really, really good here. So thanks for all you guys for making this possible, and for the people that watch these videos and have nothing to do for the whole day. Thanks for watching. Again, we always want to bring you the most information we can. You are the most informed owners in harness racing, and we are going to keep it that way. So, I hope you're having a great weekend. It is hot as a bugger here. 20 after 9 at night, and it's 28 degrees in Ontario. So, weather's great, racing's great, everything's looking good. Talk to you soon.